Every season there will be one game that kind of sticks in my mind because it kind of encapsulates what it means to be playing in a certain region. So when I think back to my time in Taiwan, I would think about the dominance of the Flash Wolves and how hopeless sometimes it is going up against them when I was coaching the Fireball team in the spring split. And that is a very particular game I remember because I would emulate the style of Flash Wolves a lot, and I would bring out these team compositions that would be almost mimicking what they're doing. But we would get the leads, we would execute things with very similar structures that Flash Wolves did, but they would turn things around with a one big team fight. And that was an experience of a little bit of frustration and I think about my time in the LSPL, we didn't really get to play a lot of matches, but it was messy and it was very largely revolving around the mechanics of the AD carry. And I always felt that people talk about the strength of AD carries in the LPL in general. I was there in Division 2 and I had this support and AD carry. They were doing Morgana Sivir against the likes of Tristana Alistar, and they were always able to get the spell shoot timing so on point despite the opponents repeatedly testing his reaction time for it. Now, today we played a series against the Gigabyte Marines with EVOS, and I think that this really encapsulates what it means to be playing in the VCS, and in particular to be playing against the Gigabyte Marines. So for those who might be watching this at a later point of time, and those who aren't really sure, who haven't been really keeping up with League of Legends, the Season 8 mid-season patch has turned the game on its head. We've been seeing all sorts of crazy strategies. We aren't really seeing standard the AD carry strategies anymore, and it's a lot about this mid-game team fighting compositions. And one of the things that has been prominent in the previous few weeks is this final strategy. The Gigabyte Marines, under the leadership of Tinny Kun, has always been known for innovating about having very strong, very innovative level ones, drafting and strategies. And I think that they demonstrated that in this game here today, where they went for a funnel strategy, but with a twist to that. They went for a Jace being the target of the funnel. And instead of going for a tank in the top lane that is able to soak pressure, they pick up the Vladimir. They showed this once at Rift Rivals, where they were able to take the game off the LCL second place team Rocks, where they shoved the funnel into this Jace once again, but it was a cannon as the insurance policy in the top lane. Now we went up against GAM, and when we were drafting through the possible scenarios that we might be facing for today, we didn't really think about, oh yeah, they might go for the Jace. We did know that yes, they had this available, but we were expecting something a lot more standard from them, and it kind of caught us by surprise at first. And yep, this is GAM up to the usual tricks, trying to pull unusual things to keep people on their toes. But the content of the game is what makes me feel that it's so unique. Not only is this gambling in a very usual playstyle, this also captures how uh, my team, in this case EVOS, likes to play. As we have a very strong top laner being Stark, and in fact during the game itself, people commenting that wow, the Rise, despite not being a target of a funnel, actually had more CS than the Jace at a certain point of time in the game. And we actually saw some very insane 1v4s, 1v5s coming up from the Rise in the later stages. So let's break down these team compositions a little bit. This funnel team composition is a lot more similar to that of the Brom Graves that we used to see a little bit in the LCK that didn't win a single game. And I think that this team composition from GAM didn't work because of similar reasons as well. Usually, when you play a funnel strategy, you're funneling into an unstoppable hyper carry. You want to funnel that into the likes of a Master Yi. You want to funnel that into the likes of a Zaya or the likes of a Kai'Sa. Champions that, yup, they have three items right now. They're ahead of the goal curve. They can kind of pop off. Whereas if you go for the likes of the Graves, the Nocturne, or the Jace, what you have is a very strong mid-game power spike, and then these champions will accelerate to that very quickly. So Jace, usually his strengths are about between 16 minutes to 23 minutes, and then this brings it earlier, so that as early as maybe 9 minutes, 10 minutes, because he gets all the experience, the EQ is going to be able to do a lot. But the trade-off is that once you are reaching the 23-minute point, people start to buy Ninja Tabis, they start to get some form of armor against you. You don't really have the ability to carry the game. So the way GAM does this, they solve this problem by drafting a carry in the top lane, whereas you would usually see a funnel team composition just draft very safe side lanes. And you see the likes of the things like Gragas, the likes of Ornn in the top lane, the likes of Morgana in the bottom lane where you have this very safe wave clear, but they need to switch this up in the form of the late game insurance policy getting to Vladimir. The progress of the game is very messy. I mean, if I'm not going to do a play-by-play recap of it, go check the game out. It's really one of the cooler things that I've ever seen. But this is one of the games that I'm definitely going to remember. And some things to note is that Kindred as well as Taric. So it's team fighting composition that we have assembled that benefits from having very strong side lanes to enable us to push out and then group. So GAM, they really needed to be able to hit the timing attack when they would get the Jace to be extremely strong and then absolutely bust through the defense that we might have at that point of time. Unfortunately, they weren't able to do that, and we were able to capitalize on that and take the win for ourselves. So just an update for those of you who might be wondering what the VCS is like. I know the League PDPH hasn't really been up to date with all the picks and bans and stuff, but the current strongest team, or if you go by the table standings, is going to be from Wu Buffalo. This might seem like a new team for those of you who aren't familiar with the VCS, but they were previously known as Young Generation. They got the top laner in the form of Zeros from Gigabyte Marines the previous split, and now they sit on top of the table. In second place is the previously 8th place team, which was Hall of Fame. They've rebranded to Adonis, and then now they're sitting in second place with 3-1 record. And in third place is us, EVOS, with a 2-2 record. Tied with the rest of there's four teams at 2-2, but we are hit because of our game differential. And that wraps up my vlog for today. This is a very memorable match, and I think that I'll be definitely on the lookout if there's any more bigger games out there that kind of captures the essence of what it's like to be in the VCS. But this I wouldn't say it was the messiest, it wasn't the bloodiest of games. In fact, at 20 minutes there was like what 9 kills on the board. It wasn't the 24 or the 23 kill games that you would sometimes see in the VCS. But I think this really captured the styles of both teams, like EVOS going up against GAM and what many people will consider to be two of the stronger teams in the VCS. Okay, that wraps it up for me today.